Blog Talk Radio.
Fashion Emergency Hotline.
Help! I got rid of all my clothes.
Breathe and explain.
During Fashion Week, everyone looked fantastic, so I decided I needed a new wardrobe.
Well, strut to Old Navy.
Old Navy?
Yes, they have gorgeous floral tops and super on-trend pixie pants to turn your sidewalk into a catwalk. And pixie pants are just $25.
$25?
That's right. Starting tomorrow, all pants and tops at Old Navy are 30 to 50% off.
30 to 50% off? Amazing. Thank you.
Don't thank me. Thank Old Navy. Valid 9/15 to 9/23. Excludes denim and active pants.
Blog Talk Radio.
Franchise interviews. From Easton, Pennsylvania to Sydney, Australia, you're listening to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews. Welcome to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews has been giving an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship. Listen to interviews with franchisers, franchisees, franchise authors, franchise experts, and attorneys. And now, welcome your host, Marty McDermott, and Franchise Interviews.
Hi everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 9 years we've been asking the entrepreneurs worldwide. I'm your host, Marty McDermott. I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and we have a great show today. We're meeting with Lara Olson, the founder of Kidcreate Studios. And Kidcreate Studio offers children art classes, camps, and art-themed birthday parties, which are made available for children ages 18 months through 12 years. And we're going to talk to Lara about that in just a moment on Franchise Interviews. So stick around because we have a great show.
The Stone Coat Franchise Opportunity. Are you looking for a unique and lucrative franchise opportunity? If so, take a look at Stone Coat. With a patented process which creates a true stone finish on almost any wall or ceiling, Stone Coat is a true game-changing product in the multi-billion-dollar construction industry. Stone Coat is applied faster, cleaner, and cheaper than conventional quarried stone, which saves both time and money. With advantages in remodel and new construction of both residential and commercial projects, Stone Coat is a true crossover product. The Stone Coat franchise opportunity provides a low startup cost, low operating expenses, comprehensive training, ongoing support, and no royalty payments. For more information on the Stone Coat franchise opportunity, go to www.stonecoatfranchise.com. That's www.stonecoatfranchise.com, or call us at 972-380-2700. That's 972-380-2700.
Franchise Teacher. Would you like to know how to franchise your concept or grow your franchise business?
Meet the experts at Franchise Teacher.
The goal of Franchise Teacher is to teach, coach, consult, and advise. The team of experts at Franchise Teacher will evaluate your business model and present you with a winning business strategy.
Franchise Teacher will help you decide whether or not your concept works and if it's franchisable. Franchise Teacher is proud to have over 30 years of experience in franchising as both franchisees and franchisors.
Franchise Teacher are developers of over a dozen franchise systems, which include brick and mortar as well as home-based concepts of nearly 3,000 combined franchise locations.
Whether you need to add more units or get more customers, Franchise Teacher can help. We will teach.
Franchise Teacher will help you learn our proven system.
Coach.
Franchise Teacher will help you provide a game plan to succeed.
Consult.
Franchise Teacher will make sure you stay on track.
And advise.
Franchise Teacher will help you learn from our over 30 years of experience in franchising as both franchisees and franchisors. Take advantage of our free, no-obligation phone consultation. Simply go to franchiseteacher.com or call us at 561-385-3032.
That's franchiseteacher.com, or call us at 561-385-3032.
Hi, this is Connie McDermott, Administrative Assistant for Franchise Interviews, LLC, and you are listening to Franchise Interviews.
Franchise Interviews. From Easton, Pennsylvania to Sydney, Australia, you're listening to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 9 years we've been asking the entrepreneurs of All-in-One. I'm your host, Marty McDermott. I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and as we were saying earlier, we have a great show today. We're meeting with Lara Olson, the founder of Kidcreate Studio. And Kidcreate Studio offers children's art classes, camps, and art-themed birthday parties, which are made available for children's ages 18 months through 12 years. Hi, Lara. How are you doing? Welcome to the show.
Oh, hi, Marty. I'm great. Thank you.
It's fantastic to have you on the show, Lara. We always like to ask our guests, where are you calling from this morning?
Well, you know, I'm so lucky that I'm actually sitting at home right now during the summer months. Our studios are so busy and so loud with teachers and kids coming and going that I prefer to work at home as much as possible. So I'm actually at home. May or may not still be in my jammies. I'm not going to tell the truth on that. And I'm in Prairie, Minnesota.
Oh, that's fantastic. You know, when I heard, we've been doing this show now, Lara. God, it's going to be 10 years in November. And when I heard your story, I mean, it was so, it became almost like one of my favorite stories, you know, in doing this show such a long time now, because I can really relate to it. We have a son who's 8 years old, and he has an inclination towards art, but there is this frustration that my wife and I have had because he just doesn't get enough of it in school, and you did something about it. When I heard your story, I mean, it was so touching. It almost made me cry. I have to admit. But maybe we could start off. You know, you can tell the story because I thought it was very inspirational and motivational.
Well, you know, I'll try my best to tell the story without me starting to cry because I'm famous for that.
Okay, or you're going to make me cry too.
I know. Well, we'll get each other going. You know, for me, I've always been absolutely fascinated by children's artwork and how they dive into it so fearlessly. I wish that more adults can, you know, approach art that way. But for me, it really started when my son was in kindergarten, and I realized that he was only getting art once every 45 minutes, or once every 4 days for 45 minutes. And believe me, when you have a room full of kindergartners, you can't get much accomplished in 45 minutes.
No, you cannot. That's so true.
You know, in the back of my mind, I knew that he needed more art, and it really became more clear to me, you know, as he got into first and second grade, and he's a lot like his mom. He's a little bit dyslexic, so he was struggling and getting real frustrated with, you know, spelling and reading and that type of stuff. But he was so happy about the art classes that he was getting at school. And I just knew as a mom that he just needed more of that. Because I remember when I was a kid, that was absolutely my favorite part of my day. And you know how us moms are, we get online and we find what our kids need. And I couldn't find what I wanted for him. I couldn't find what he needed. I had this idea in mind that I wanted him to go to, an enrichment art program, but I wanted it to be, you know, just for kids. I wanted it to be a space that's designed for kids, somewhere I knew he was going to be comfortable and happy, having fun, learning cool stuff, and it just didn't exist. So, you know, I got, here I'm getting weepy now. I'm going to try not to. You know, I got obsessed with it, and my husband finally said to me, you know, this is a great idea, and you need to, you know, do something with it. So he suggested that I invite the neighbor ladies over for coffee and do, you know, just kind of throw the idea out there, see what they thought. And, of course, they all loved it. And then my husband sort of, you know, brought reality back. He's like, well, you know, they're all your friends. Of course they're going to say they love it.
Right, of course,
So, you know, then what I did is I got a group of strangers together, hired a facilitator, had her run, questions at them and say, okay, this is the concept that we're thinking about developing. Is this something
right.
you'd be excited to sign your kids up for, what kind of classes would they be interested in, what kind of facility. And, after that session was over, I was just, so much more excited, if that was even possible.
Right,
and,
of course.
Heard such incredible feedback from the parents that were in that group that, it kind of became clear that it was something that, not only I felt was necessary. So dove in.
Sure,
and took
of course,
a lot
right.
of really, deep breaths and decided to, see what I could do with the idea. And here we are. Gosh, I don't know, is it 9 years later, 10 years later? Time has flown so fast, as I'm sure you know,
Wow.
since you've been doing this the same amount of time.
Yes. Yeah. It's fantastic. I mean, I love the story, for so many different reasons. And, it was very brave of you, too, to do this, Lara, because, in researching your background, it sounded like, you were doing very well, but it just seemed to me in reading the story about you, it was just almost like something that you had to do, you really had
it was.
to follow through. Yeah.
I think if I right, and if I hadn't done it, I think it's something that I would have regretted for my entire life. And
yeah.
And I'm not going to say it's been easy. It's been by far the hardest thing I've ever done to create this business, this brand. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears has gone into it for sure. And but looking back, I'm so pleased with what obviously not only me but my entire team has created over the years. It's great for the kids. It's a phenomenal program.
That's fantastic. What are some of the services that Kidcreate Studio provides, Lara? Maybe we could talk a little bit about that.
Oh, sure. So Kidcreate is essentially a retail concept that focuses on art education for kids 18 months to 12 years of age. And we offer, at our studios, art classes, camps, art-themed birthday parties, and then also art-themed retail items. But what really makes the brand special is that we then create partnerships with other programs within the community, community ed programs, park and rec programs, daycares, preschools. And they then offer our programming through their organization as well. So we utilize the same curriculum, the same teachers. My teachers come in, pack up, head on out, and conduct classes, pretty much wherever kids are. So our studios are really busy, but then when you add in all of the locations that we partner with, our locations are very busy.
I imagine.
A lot of fun. Yeah.
It's interesting because
Lara,
it's interesting because, it seems like there's some crossover, too, in studying, the business model. I always, look towards the industry, and I said, okay, that you're, in the, birthday parties, camps, education, entertainment, so it's hard to even figure out, what industry you're in because there's this nice crossover, which I think, by the way, is a benefit, to your business model. Is having that crossover was really fascinating for me.
Yeah, and to be honest, it was a bit of a happy accident, but yeah, absolutely, that is really a benefit of the model for sure.
That's fantastic. What about, maybe we could talk a little bit about, franchising, of course, because the show is called Franchise Interviews, but, what do you look for in your franchisees, Lara? What types of characteristics would be ideal to be a franchisee?
Oh, sure. We're really looking for someone who not only wants to make a good living, but they want to make a living doing good. They want to look back at the end of the day and know that they positively influence the lives of the children in their community. It's someone that is business savvy, positive, outgoing, hardworking. Someone who is as passionate about art education as I am and really understands why art education is important for kids.
It's a feel-good business, isn't it? It's one of those businesses where, of course, looking at the industry, you have this tremendous potential to make money because of the strong consumer demand. But, at the end of the day, to put the smiles on the children's faces, it must be a wonderful experience for you.
It's not only a feel-good business, but it's a fun business. Going to work is fun. Monday mornings come around and I spring out of bed because I get so excited about seeing the kids at the studio and they get to show off their artwork and their faces light up and the parents' faces light up and it's amazing. In fact, I'm getting goosebumps right now just explaining to you how awesome it is.
Yeah, that's how you know, too. I always say, like, that's the test, Lara, isn't it? It's like, how do you feel on Monday morning, you know?
Yeah.
You get out of bed, you know, because it's like you have these 5 days ahead of you, you know what I mean? And I always say, like, that's the litmus test, you know what I mean? If you feel great and you can't wait to get out of bed on that Monday, you know that you're doing what you're meant to do, aren't you?
Yeah, and I honestly, I don't ever recall a Monday morning that I was like, oh, here we go again. It's always like, okay, this is what we've got going on today. It's so much fun.
That's fantastic. Maybe we talk a little bit. So, getting back to, so you really do you need experience in this industry then, Lara? I mean, probably some of our listeners might be saying, okay, well, I don't have a background in art, but I do have an appreciation for the business or the passion for the business. How does that work? So as far as like experience goes?
Yeah, no education experience or art education experience is required. We can teach the franchisees everything that they need to know about that. So, it's more about, the attitude and being able to commit to work hard at it and being excited about the idea of it is really more important.
That's fantastic. Did you know, Lara, I mean, when you started this thing, I mean, I know a lot of things happened so fast for you, when you started the business. Did you realize that franchising was going to be a great means of distribution, of growing the business? Because, it seems like this concept in studying it's duplicatable anywhere in the United States, So, and again, it could be taught. But did you know in the beginning that franchising would be the method for growing the business, or did it just kind of happen?
It was always my plan to eventually franchise it if I could make the concept profitable enough. And, I really took my time to get to that point because I wanted, it's a labor of love for me. And I wanted, the systems to be in place. I wanted the curriculum to be in place. I opened up my first location, wanted to make sure that was profitable and running well before I opened my second location. And, it's just been, just baby steps along the way to get to the point that we are today.
That's great. Maybe we could talk a little bit about the initial investment fee, Lara. What does that entail, for our listeners?
Yeah, it's a really affordable. The initial investment ranges between $54,000 and $120,000.
Wow, that's great. Which is great because, a lot of the concepts that do come on franchise interviews, I mean, it's, like $500,000 range or $750,000, and it's nice to see, those opportunities that they're out there, you know what I mean, where you could make a significant amount of money and not have to, go into debt, when doing it at the same time,
Yeah, it makes it a much easier decision for sure.
Absolutely. So what are Kidcreate Studio plans for expansion then? I mean, where are you looking to grow anywhere specifically, Lara, in the country? Or
for us, it's really more about finding the right partners versus targeting any particular market. We have a goal of reaching over 100 franchise locations through a real careful and conservative growth. For us, it's all about the partners and being able to spend the time we need to train them and, give them the attention that they need to be as profitable as their location can be.
That's great. Yeah, and that's really, the most important, because it is, a lot of times I always hate to compare it to the sanctity of marriage, but it kind of has those characteristics of, having that strong partnership, relationship, so it is that strong relationship, so I totally agree with that. So what are some consumer differentiators that Kidcreate Studio offer, Lara?
Sure. Well, the main one, of course, is the fact that we have the brick-and-mortar location. So we have the ability to do our own programming, our own studio classes, our own summer camps, lots and lots of birthday parties. But then also being able to then reach out into the community and create those partnerships that I was talking about earlier is really, I think, the biggest difference that we have with other brands. And, it's wonderful because it just generates more revenue. And it opens up possibilities for cross-marketing then between our studio classes and our on-the-go classes. That really works out well for us. And then, I really love how our studios are designed. They're designed with kids in mind, kid-sized furniture. they're happy and
Yeah.
bright. We have a mural wall that the kids can draw and paint on. We even have 2 pet parakeets at each location named Artie and Crafty that the kids can visit and talk with. And let me tell you, Artie and Crafty are very popular. We have lots of kids that even just stop in and visit just to say hi to the birds.
That's just brilliant marketing, isn't it? It's just, because I've studied marketing for years, I say that's just brilliant marketing, I mean, it's very clever, so I think that's fantastic. Many of our listeners that listen to franchise interviews, Lara, I mean, we call them aspiring franchipreneurs. I mean, most of them know they want to get into franchising, but they don't even know where to begin, and what, again, inspired me about your story is you really, you followed through. It was like you had to do this. But, again, many of our listeners are very trepidatious and sometimes moving forward. What advice would you give to them in their quest to buy a franchise or to kind of move forward?
Well, I think one real important thing that they need to decide is if they're interested in a concept that is a home-based concept versus something that isn't. And for us, we're not a home-based concept.
Right.
We really feel strongly about helping our franchisees create a work-life balance. And, to have teachers and suppliers coming and going from your home really isn't a way to do that. So for us, we've kind of created the best of both worlds. We're not a home-based business, but most of our technology-based applications you can access from anywhere. So, for example, how I work at home I can work at home quite a lot and still run my studios. So it's really, really great as a working mom. I've got 2 kids. This is our last week of summer vacation. So
same here.
It's just, I know they go back to school. Yay!
Yes,
but,
exactly.
It's nice to be home if they need me. But for someone who's trying to decide if they want to purchase a franchise, I really think that's one of the first questions that they need to ask themselves.
Right. I think it's great advice, because the home-based concept, is not always for everyone either. It's nice to have, the fact that, sometimes, where people just, come to you instead of you going to, all your customers too. I mean, that's nice. And, we always say that on the show too, Lara, that, franchising is a means to an end. It helps you accomplish something else. And it sounds like, in you getting involved in the business, you have that ability to be at home with your children when they need you, but of course, go to the business when the business needs you, you know what I mean? And you have that flexibility. And it sounds like you have that lifestyle now that, this has really been able to provide to you, and not just to you, but now to all of your franchisees as well, because it's a system that they follow. So, so I think that's fantastic advice. Do you have advice for other small businesses looking to start franchising, Lara? We have a nice crossover too on our show as well, where some businesses, maybe they're considering franchising, but they don't know where to begin either. What advice would you give to them? Because you've done it, and you've done it successfully.
Right.
What would you say to them?
It's a decision that you just really can't rush into. I'm a firm believer that the right decision will come to you when it's the right time for that decision to happen. And for me, it took me, although franchising was always kind of my end goal that I had in mind, it took me a long time to really commit to that. And it's a big commitment. And I think it's really important too that your family and your loved ones stand behind that decision, because it's really hard work and it's really time consuming. It's got to be something that everyone understands is going to take a lot of effort and add stress to the family and all of that. But, I think of all of those bits of advice, I think the most important thing is the business owner has to be at a point that they're able to step out of the day-to-day running of their business. Because you just can't, if you don't have the right staff in place that can oversee the day-to-day tasks that need to be done, it just won't happen. You just won't have the time to commit to the franchising.
Sure, of course, which is much easier said than done. It's hard, I guess, for entrepreneurs to sometimes do that, right, to go to that next level, and
it's really hard. It's hard to find the staff that you trust and that's trained and are, doing things how you want done, and it's they always say that you need to delegate, but delegating is sometimes a very hard thing to achieve.
Sure, of course, especially for entrepreneurs, so that's fantastic.
Right.
What's the best way for our listeners, Lara, for to get more information on Kidcreate Studio? Should they go to the website, or what is the website address anyway?
Yeah, they can go to kidcreatestudio.com, and there is a tab on the upper right area that says franchising, and they can click on that, and that talks all about our franchise opportunities, and there's a form on there that they can fill out if they want additional information sent to them.
That's fantastic. I want to thank you again for coming on the show, Lara. Again, I've been following your concept for a while now, so I'm really happy to have you on the show because, again, my wife and I both related to your story, and again, it was very motivational. And again, I've done 500 of these interviews, and this one is going to stand out because it really made a big impression when I was studying your background. So I think this is great, and I'd like to invite you back, in the near future as you continue to grow.
Oh, thank you, Marty. I appreciate you having me on the show. I'm so excited to share this idea with, potential franchisees out there. It's just such a great concept, and I really appreciate your time this morning.
The pleasure has been mine, Lara, and we'll be right back with more franchise interviews.
The Stone Coat Franchise Opportunity. Are you looking for a unique and lucrative franchise opportunity? If so, take a look at Stone Coat. With a patented process which creates a true stone finish on almost any wall or ceiling, Stone Coat is a true game-changing product in the multi-billion-dollar construction industry. Stone Coat is applied faster, cleaner, and cheaper than conventional quarried stone, which saves both time and money. With advantages in remodel and new construction of both residential and commercial projects, Stone Coat is a true crossover product. The Stone Coat franchise opportunity provides a low startup cost, low operating expenses, comprehensive training, ongoing support, and no royalty payments. For more information on the Stone Coat franchise opportunity, go to www.stonecoatfranchise.com. That's www.stonecoatfranchise.com, or call us at 972-380-2700. That's 972-380-2700.
Franchise Teacher.
Would you like to know how to franchise your concept or grow your franchise business?
Meet the experts at Franchise Teacher.
The goal of Franchise Teacher is to teach, coach, consult, and advise. The team of experts at Franchise Teacher will evaluate your business model and present you with a winning business strategy.
Franchise Teacher will help you decide whether or not your concept works and if it's franchisable. Franchise Teacher is proud to have over 30 years of experience in franchising as both franchisees and franchisors.
Franchise Teacher are developers of over a dozen franchise systems, which include brick and mortar as well as home-based concepts of nearly 3,000 combined franchise locations.
Whether you need to add more units or get more customers, Franchise Teacher can help. We will teach.
Franchise Teacher will help you learn our proven system.
Coach.
Franchise Teacher will help you provide a game plan to succeed.
Consult.
Franchise Teacher will make sure you stay on track.
And advise.
Franchise Teacher will help you learn from our over 30 years of experience in franchising as both franchisees and franchisors. Take advantage of our free, no-obligation phone consultation. Simply go to franchiseteacher.com or call us at 561-385-3032.
That's franchiseteacher.com or call us at 561-385-3032.
Today's great quote in franchising is being brought to you by
Franchise Teacher.
Would you like to know how to franchise your concept or grow your franchise business?
Meet the experts at Franchise Teacher.
The goal of Franchise Teacher is to teach, coach, consult, and advise. The team of experts at Franchise Teacher will evaluate your business model and present you with a winning business strategy.
Franchise Teacher will help you decide whether or not your concept works and if it's franchisable. Franchise Teacher is proud to have over 30 years of experience in franchising as both franchisees and franchisors.
Franchise Teacher are developers of over a dozen franchise systems, which include brick and mortar as well as home-based concepts of nearly 3,000 combined franchise locations.
Whether you need to add more units or get more customers, Franchise Teacher can help. We will teach.
Franchise Teacher will help you learn our proven system.
Coach.
Franchise Teacher will help you provide a game plan to succeed.
Consult.
Franchise Teacher will make sure you stay on track.
And advise.
Franchise Teacher will help you learn from our over 30 years of experience in franchising as both franchisees and franchisors. Take advantage of our free, no-obligation phone consultation. Simply go to franchiseteacher.com or call us at 561-385-3032.
That's franchiseteacher.com or call us at 561-385-3032.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Great Quotes in Franchising, where each podcast you get to hear a great quote in franchising. You know, we've been hosting franchise interviews now almost years, and during that time, we've had some incredible quotes on the show. Today, you're going to get to hear from Karol Mercurio, and she talks about a subject that we talk frequently on the show, which is following the franchise system. She gives a lot of great other advice in addition to aspiring entrepreneurs, but I just thought her advice was fantastic. So here we go with Karol Mercurio, franchise consultant.
It is, because success means different things to different people.
Right.
You know, there are people that could be very happy making $40,000, $50,000 a year, and there's others that would just never tolerate that. So you have to pick the right opportunity. It's going to meet not just your personal goals, but your income potential as well.
You have to like what you're doing, and most of the time that'll turn into making more money. So.
Oh, definitely. And, you know, the truth is that franchising really isn't for everyone. You know, it's, Michael Gerber, you know, one of your guests who is one of my heroes, so to speak.
Right.
I love his book. I recommend his book all the time.
Yeah.
And as he says, you know, there's a difference between an entrepreneur and what he calls a technician.
Oh, absolutely.
So, you know, and we'll go into that, and if you want to move forward in
Sure, absolutely. We'll go to the next slide, and that's slide 4, Karol says. That's all great, but
do you have what it takes? And that's really what this presentation will help people do. When I do this presentation live, it takes about 2 hours, and, you know, there are people at the end of the presentation will run to the front door and can't get out fast enough. They're scared to death. Or you have those folks that just linger on because they really want to learn more and educate themselves to see if this is the right fit for them. But there's a lot to figure out, you know, before you actually can pull the trigger and make that decision. And as you mentioned just previously, the due diligence is imperative. You know, you have to do a good job of figuring that out. You know, is it the right connection personally, and are you connecting with a company that you feel is a comfortable marriage between the two of you?
Absolutely. Right.
And so that's what we're going to do, is help determine if this is, in fact, the right path to explore. And then we can move on to motivation.
Okay.
And, you know, for me, I think motivation is really, really a major component of this whole process.
I agree.
If you're not motivated to do this, don't do it. If somebody tells you should do it for a variety of different reasons, but it's not your own passion,
right,
you probably won't do well at it. And, you know, there's two different types of motivation. There's positive motivation and there's negative motivation. So you have to think of it, is it an inspiration? Are you inspired to do this, or are you desperate to do this? There's a big difference here.
Absolutely.
Are you know, running from something, or you're running towards something?
Right, right.
And, you know, for me, I work with a lot of folks that have been downsized, and they're in transition in life, and I certainly can relate to it. But they may go to looking at a business because they can't find a job. Or maybe lesser positions are offered to them, less money, less title, or maybe their severance is about to end and they need to make some decision quickly. Bad choice.
Right.
It's not a good reason to buy a business. It's
like a last resort type of decision. So you can quickly determine part of your services is finding out that motivation level pretty early on.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I won't move forward in our consultation until that candidate can tell me what their reason is.
Right.
And it's not just because, you know, I want control over my destiny. Who doesn't? You know, everybody does.
That's true.
They want to make more money. Who wouldn't?
Right, absolutely.
It has to go layers deeper than that, or as I look at it, having a burning desire, or I'll add to that a little pain. If you can't relate to the pain, then there's no reward at the end.
Absolutely.
And going into business for yourself can be painful. With franchising, of course, it's a little bit easier because you have all the support, but it's still you're starting a business from scratch.
That's
and you
what
have
Marty
to
and I
really
always
want
talk
it.
about. Right.
I'm sorry?
Right. We always talk about that. That there's no guarantee of success, but if you follow the system, work hard, look at the stats we just went over. I mean, the failure rate's so low, and then with getting the right
match,
consultation from someone like yourself, and
right.
You should be okay.
Well, and it's true, and the systems that are in place with franchising are the major reasons why people gravitate to franchising. But if you're not the personality to follow a system, and you're more of that entrepreneur, as Michael Gerber would say,
right.
The best way to describe it is you can't paint the golden arches green.
Right.
It just won't work.
Absolutely.
Either you follow the system and you'll be successful or not. But most importantly, there has to be a motivation. And everyone's motivation is different. The way I help people see things is if you look down the road, say, the next 3-5 years from today, how do you see your life being different, if at all?
Right.
What do you want to accomplish? And for some people, it might be doing things that they've just missed doing, like having the freedom to play golf, or having the money to buy a boat and taking their family on it and being with their family and having that quality time that they just don't have in their current world.
That's interesting.
So you consider that positive motivation because that's the whole big picture of success in business, working hard, and then having all that personal stuff on the side.
Oh, yeah. What's the end result look like? What is it that you want to accomplish by being in business for yourself? I mean, what is your burning desire? Where is the pain now? I mean, if you look at your current situation today, I'll have people that I'm working with that are making, well over six-figure incomes, and they...
Thanks, everyone, for listening, and we'll see you again soon with another edition of Great Quotes in Franchising from Franchise Interviews. Take care, everyone.